Good morning and welcome to a presentation of the paper entitled System for Continuous Collection of Contextual Information for Network Security Management and Incident Handling. My name is Martin Husák. I'm with Institute of Computer Science and Masaryk University in Brno, Czech Republic. And let's start with the motivation and goals of this work. We're dealing with incident handling and incident response, which are common tasks of cybersecurity teams and security operation centers. Unfortunately, these tasks are prone to human errors. The incident handlers, the people responsible for incident handling and response, often lack important contextual data, and their so-called cyber situational awareness is low. And although automation of incident handling is difficult, the automation of data collection is not. And thus, we decided to create a system that provides incident handlers with all the data they need for incident handling. The data shall provide an overview of the network and details on hosts and services in the network, and the collection should be continuous so that incident handler do not have to query them when they need it, but instead it should be instantly ready anytime when it's needed. So what data shall be collected? Typically, the incident starts with an alert or a report where there is only an IP address or host name and some information on what is happening. Unfortunately, we don't know, typically we don't know anything about the particular host or machine under that host name or IP address, and we would like to know the details. What is the machine we have to protect? What is its operating system? What are the services running on it? If it's a server, what is the client software installed on it? If it's a workstation, for example, we might be interested what kind of web browser does it use, if it has an antivirus, and if it's updated regularly, and if there are any vulnerabilities on the host. Also, we would like to know the location of the machine in the network. Where is it located in the network topology and in which segment? Also, we would like to know who is the responsible contact, if it's a primary user or an administrator. And we would like to also know if it's part of a critical infrastructure and if there is any history of incidents associated with this particular host. We designed a system that looks like this. We have an orchestration service based on Celery that runs a number of components that collect the data. We use several approaches to collect data. We use passive network monitoring. For this, we use existing NetFlow monitoring infrastructure, which is a popular solution for network traffic monitoring. And we have many components based on this. We also complement it with active network probing based on Nmap and other scanners. And we also use third-party information like CVE and local information sources, which I will talk about later. All the data are stored in a Neo4j database, which is a graph database, and the data are stored as a graph where the nodes are entities like IP addresses, vulnerabilities, and so on, and the edges are connections between them. For example, IP address is known to host a vulnerability. So let's take a look at the components. First, the passive network monitoring consists of a network collector component, which connects to a network collector, which is a machine that stores the network data, downloads the records needed by other components, and then we run the following procedures. First, there is always fingerprinting, so we estimate the operating system of the machine. This is intensively studied in our ongoing research. And well, if there is someone interested in this topic particularly, which is quite interesting, I would like to refer to related work. Then we similarly detect the services and software running on the system using NVAR2 signatures. We also apply HTTP user agent analysis to identify web browser running on the machine, and also by checking the communication specific domains such as update servers and vendor servers. We check if the machine has an antivirus software and if it's updated. We complement all of this with active network probing. For this we use Nmap, quite popular tool. I think I don't have to introduce it. So we scan top 100 ports to check for open services, and we also do network topology scan. Well, the tasks are similar to passive network traffic monitoring. So we identify OS and software fingerprints. Unfortunately, this task is quite time-consuming. It takes up to 16 hours in a /16 network. So we also designed cleanup and resume procedures in case something mishaps. If we identify a web server, we run two additional components. First, a web checker. If we see a web server, we check if it provides contents on port 80 or 443, which means it's HTTP or HTTPS. And if it opens port 443, then we check for validity of the HTTPS certificate. Finally, if it has any content, we run content management system detection, which is based on WhatWeb tool, and we identify, or we try to identify popular content management systems like WordPress, Drupal, and their versions, so that we know if there is a software like this and possibly if it's vulnerable or not. Finally, we use third-party and local information sources. I mentioned CVE, so we download CVE records from NVD, which is a primary source, and we complement it by details from databases of vulnerabilities provided by vendors. Vendors like Apple, Microsoft, Red Hat, Oracle. They provide more detailed descriptions of vulnerabilities, which might come handy in incident handling. CVEs are matched with discovered software via CPE with common platform enumeration. That's a special identifier. The matching is not exact, but at least it can suggest that a particular machine or a particular piece of software is vulnerable or not. Then we use RTIR connector, which is a connector to popular request tracker for incident response, where we download the history of incidents. If you think about using our proposed system, then and use a different request tracker or different piece of software for incident response, then you have to create your own connector, but that should be straightforward. Finally, for the network segmentation, we use netlist connector, which is quite a simple parser of a text file that looks like this, where you have segments with IP ranges and admin contacts. Unfortunately, this is very environmental specific and needs to be adjusted to the needs of particular deployment scenario or network. Apart from the raw data we collect, we also derive several pieces of information. Most importantly, we estimate the criticality of the machines. For this, we proposed algorithm based on graph theory, and we calculate the so-called between score. We calculate the short paths between any two nodes in the network, and then we calculate how many shortest paths go through particular nodes. And the nodes with the highest between the scores are considered critical, and thus should be considered as important for the network. Well, manual enumeration would be too laborious, and this is quite a nice approximation that we are going to further expand in future work, because, well, this topic seems quite promising. I already mentioned CPE matching, which is matching vulnerabilities to software versions or fingerprints. So we deployed our system in our campus network, which is /16 IPv4 network with over 40,000 users, 29,000 devices, with many NetFlow probes located at observation points, and using active probing from 2 locations to increase its coverage. Our experience suggests that Neo4j first is a mature graph database, so we observed no performance issues, and also the 3 months of historical data are enough for the needs of incident handling. Typically, we don't need to query records older than 3 months, so we decided to delete content older than 3 months to save space, and still we had no performance issues. In total, we collected about 2.5 gigabytes of data, almost 700,000 nodes and 22 million edges, all representing the data on 29,000 unique IP addresses. Well, the system is quite robust and can contain details on a large network, like the campus network. The vulnerability assessment, which is a crucial part of the system, was able to provide fingerprints on 18,000 machines in the network. Well, the fingerprinting accuracy via passive network monitoring has only 85% accuracy, compared to active probing, where we see lower numbers of probed hosts, but the quality of the fingerprints provided by Nmap is a bit higher. So, well, these 2 approaches complement each other quite well. So in total, we were able to assume 2,400 vulnerabilities mapped to 563 unique CPE identifiers. So to conclude my talk, we designed a system that collects contextual information for incident handling. We built the system upon the existing data collection infrastructure. So if you use NetFlow monitoring, this is very easy to deploy and use almost instantly, and the data that it collects facilitate the so-called cyber situational awareness and provide the insights into the network. So the incident handler during the incident handling may use this information to prevent human errors and to pick the most suitable mitigation option for an ongoing attack or appearing vulnerability. In our future work, we would like to shed a light on procedural aspects of incident handling, which shall receive more attention. And we would like to integrate our system with other incident handling tools, provide dashboards for incident handler, provide plugins to request tracker, and so on. And then we would like to establish metrics to qualify and quantify the impact of using the system, because, well, preventing human errors is very hard to evaluate meticulously. So this is all from me. I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions.